Before Jimmy Carter became president, he saw a UFO in the sky with a group of people that would change the course of his life. And as he was running for president, one of his campaign promises is that he was going to release information about UFOs and aliens, what the government was keeping secret. As he won the presidency, he was going to make good on this promise. This is going to be the first president to completely declassify UFOs and aliens. Well, he was halted by the CIA. The CIA told him that is not a good idea because what you think are creatures from another planet, little green men from another planet in spaceships, these are our gods. They created us. They created humanity and religion to create peace on Earth and also to use us as test subjects. Upon being declassified, Jimmy Carter, a very strong Christian, very strong in his beliefs, he broke down, he cried, and he sobbed. And he no longer held on to this campaign promise. Now the talk about UFOs and aliens was a national security issue. Releasing this information to the public could spell total disaster, as people during that time, even 30, 40 years ago, were more religious than they are today. Flash forward to today, you have official government workers, those of the Department of Defense, coming out. Whistleblowers like David Grush having hearings with the United States Congress. Congress is very excited about these whistleblowers coming out and speaking out, that they are very brave. It's the people's right to know that the government is hiding information about UFOs and aliens, and it's our right to know what they are hiding. So Congress, in a bipartisan light, in a group of Democrats and Republicans, come together to get to the bottom of this. They have a 3-hour hearing with intelligence. This group of people that were going to release information about UFOs and aliens to the public, the government secrets to the public, well, their tune starts to change after this 3-hour declassification. They start to invoke Jimmy Carter. You even had Congressman Robert Garcia of California say that this could be a national security issue.
Whatever UAPs may be, and so the bill would actually do that. Obviously, we can't talk about the details of the briefing, but I think there was some interesting information, and so I think that this is a topic that I think is a national security issue, and it's really important that there's disclosure and transparency. I think that's what the public wants. I think it's also a very serious topic, and so we've got to just take it with seriousness. It is not a joke.
But what's very interesting is that after this 3-hour meeting, we are now hearing the words interdimensional and extra-dimensional angels. After this 3-hour hearing, you had reporters approach Congresswoman Anna Paulina, and she said, we have to remember the words of David Grush, that these are not extraterrestrials, but these are interdimensional beings. She also ominously states that she now believes David Grush, that people were hurt in trying to release this information.
What I can also say is one thing in particular that really caused me to be concerned about this whole thing is that Grush had stated to myself, Representative Burchett, and another member on the phone that there were people that were hurt hiding this information and keeping this information safe and or trying to come forward with this information. What I can tell you is I believe that claim after now leaving. And that's all I'll say now.
Do you think that the administration...
And so she would not give any more information as to what she meant by interdimensional. Now, interdimensional can mean just about anything, because we as humans are also dimensional creatures. We are either of the third dimension or the fourth dimension. So this could mean beings from a dimension lower than us or a dimension higher than us. But this could also mean beings from another realm, maybe even a spiritual realm, such as the likes of heaven or hell. We even had another congressman come out after this meeting saying that he wishes he never attended at all, because he's now more concerned than ever. After the classified briefing, we also had another congressman say that UFOs may be extra-dimensional angels. Congressman Eric Burlison speculated that these UFOs, these aliens, might be angels sent by God himself. He always had this belief that aliens, UFOs, were angels, and that after this classification, it did not change his worldview. So it seems like we are now shying away from the thought that aliens, entities, beings, whatever you want to call them, come from another planet, but that they now come from another dimension. They are interdimensional beings. But that begs the question, are these aliens, or what we think of as aliens, these entities, these beings, are they actual angels? Or are they something more nefarious? Are they fallen angels? Are they demons? Are they liars? Are they spreading lies? The Pentagon actually has their own wing when it comes to UFOs and aliens. They do have programs that research UFOs. And they halted a specific program because something they saw terrified them. As the Pentagon were funding this one specific program, and as they were getting closer and closer to the truth, they decided to cut off funding altogether. And it wasn't just one small contingent group, but a large group of people. Now, it is stated that this large group of people were the Christians inside the Pentagon that wanted to stop this program, but no, it was all sorts of people with different beliefs, because come to find out, what they were researching were not people from another planet. These were not creatures from another planet coming down in machinery. But they found out that these creatures were creatures from hell. The money and funding for this program was immediately stopped after what they saw. There were those still working inside this program that wanted it to continue, but they were also stopped as well. They were told, no, this can no longer continue because we are no longer dealing with things or creatures or entities from another planet. These are interdimensional. These are demons. So as of September 2023, this alien UFO program within the Pentagon has ceased to be, or so we're told. Now, coincidence may have it, going back to 1997, radio host Art Bell had a very interesting call. He had a caller call in talking about Area 51, and he was acting very frantic. He said what we believe are aliens are interdimensional beings.
Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming,
So we might have a little bit more clarity to what he was talking about. In November 1991, a Nebraskan priest named Ray Boach had a meeting with a pair of physicists working on a top-secret program for the United States Department of Defense. Both men were deeply worried and were looking for advice and guidance from Boach on the project in which they were immersed. The classified operation, Boach was told, revolved around attempts by certain elements of the Department of Defense to contact what they termed non-human entities, or NHEs. Most people might call them extraterrestrials, aliens, or in terms of the field of UFOlogy and popular culture, the Greys. Now, for a while, the Department of Defense referred to them as just that, as the Greys, but not for long, as Ray Boach listened carefully to what his sources told him. He come to realize that the Pentagon was actually dabbling in decidedly dangerous areas. These physicists who were working with the Department of Defense, Ray Boach's sources, they were telling him things that did not make much sense. The scientists explained to Boach that the contact with the NHEs was not achieved on a face-to-face basis, but rather in mind-to-mind fashion. Telepathy, ESP, and channeling were the primary ways via which interaction occurred. But as the program progressed, something ominous occurred. It was as if a dark cloud descended on all those tied to the program. Bad luck, illness, and even death blighted the team. Such was the extent of negativity that surrounded the operation. The Department of Defense came to a startling and disturbing conclusion. So these Pentagon workers in the 90s had a very similar experience to the Pentagon workers in the 2020s that halted this UFO program. Now listen to this. Although the Department of Defense in the 90s had initially assumed the entities they were dealing with were extraterrestrial, Boach was informed that over time, that view changed significantly and dramatically. The scientists on board eventually came to believe that they were not dealing with aliens from faraway galaxies after all, but with highly dangerous, deceptive, manipulative demons as in literal demons from literal hell. So this even goes back to Jimmy Carter. This goes back to the CIA and the government, that they are being manipulated, they are being deceived by demons. These aliens that the governments are aware of are telling the government that they are the one true gods. So if these aliens are not aliens at all, if they are actual demons, if they are fallen angels, then what are UFOs? Are they machinery? Why would demons, why would fallen angels need UFOs to fly around in, to travel in? The UFO presence on our planet, the Pentagon group believed, was designed to seduce us into believing aliens were among us, when the reality, as they saw it at least, was that they were being led to accept that belief as a means to allow Satan's minions to get his claws into us. Such was the concern on the part of the Department of Defense about their actions, namely opening a door or a portal to something monstrous and malignant. They began digging deep into the distant past for the answers to the UFO puzzle. It was ancient demons rather than ancient aliens that tasked the finest minds of the Pentagon. As incredible as it might sound, those attached to the Pentagon program consulted numerous early texts and books that addressed the field of demonology, chiefly to try and figure out the extent to which the UFO phenomenon, some of it, perhaps even all of it, was the result of demonic activity and satanic deception. Now, the Department of Defense spent a great deal of time studying numerous books on ancient and modern demonology, including John Deacon and John Walker's 1601 book, Theological Discourses of Spirits and Devils, and R. Campbell Thompson's The Devils and Evil Spirits of Babylonia. The Deacon and Walker book presented to its readers a long and complicated history of demonology, the means by which demons could get their grips into easily manipulated people, and the deceptive nature of these unholy creatures, all of which was worryingly familiar to the Department of Defense team. So what does this sound like? This sounds exactly like Project Bluebeam, that we do have demons working with the government to produce what is UFOs, and these UFOs could be that great deception among humanity when there is this quote-unquote supposed alien invasion. So supposedly what we're seeing in the skies is just a demonic hallucination by real demons to make us believe UFOs are real, to deceive humanity. The final fallout from that, as proposed by Project Bluebeam, is to make us align to a demonic antichrist. So it's very funny how everything always falls back to Project Bluebeam, a great deception on man. And that does not take away the fact that real entities exist. Of course they do. They are working with the government. When certain portions of the government, whether it is the president, Congress, or certain portions of the Pentagon working with certain programs, are declassified about what these entities truly are, their tunes, their outlooks start to change. They can now no longer talk about this demonic deception they are now a part of. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help this channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.